Gamers, was cracking? What's happening? It's your boy, the Show Bullet 8. We are back again with another stream. How's everybody doing? Thank you all for being here on both YouTube and on Twitch. Hey, this is actually early for me. This is actually early. Again, what? It's probably 6 or so back where I was living. So for most of y'all, it's like 6, 7 o'clock at night. For me, it's what? Yeah, 10:42 in the morning here. It's Friday, March 1st, 10:42, and I came to the realization that in 20 days it's my damn birthday again. Wow. But anyway, how's everybody been? I hope y'all are doing good. Let me know if I need to adjust any of the volumes or anything else like that. I got some videos for us to react to, a story time as well, because last week after the stream, something really really interesting and good happened. Um, I know like throughout the videos that I've been uploading and everything, people have been asking a lot of questions about what it's like working out here and stuff like that. And for me, it's a little bit different. But I think today we're gonna actually some of the reacts we're gonna look at is like stuff like related to working in Japan. Tokyo, I think, is even more different than the rest of Japan and how things work, especially depending on the type of corporation you work in, whether or not you work for a school, whether you're like teaching or it's a daycare and you're teaching, or if it's a big corporation like an IT company, a bar, the restaurants. I mean, it's a different thing, man. Like working here versus working probably anywhere else. Well, I mean, comparatively to the States. Beyond that, there was some other stuff that I wanted to actually get into and react to, and one of them is a video about the nightlife out here, and not necessarily too much like the club scene and everything like that. I can tell you all about that a great deal, but other things that happen here, and it's crazy because I saw this video and it dawned on me like really what was going on, especially after seeing it and then 2 nights ago going out, and you guys will figure all that out once we get into it. Hang on, I just got a message. I need to. Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyway, anyway, beyond that, I mean, the first thing that I woke up to a couple of days ago was, you know what? Wait. I'm all over the place right now. Before I talk about that, before we check these videos out, what I'm going to be doing here soon, and it's something that I think will be really, really good. I've already contacted, 3 or 4 different people and had conversations. 4 different people had conversations with 3 out of the 4 of them so far, and then we're trying to plan something out because we're all in different areas. A couple of them aren't too far from me. How you doing, Bullet? By the way, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is so fucking long. I've been playing all day and I'm still on chapter 2. Jesus. I've been hearing that a lot. Everybody is enjoying that game. Like, it's not surprising. Number one, it's a Final Fantasy game. Number two, it's another version of FF7. And if that's not the greatest one of all time, it's one of. And it's the one that I think like most people really know, and it really introduced, especially the American audience. It really introduced a great deal of people in the American audience to RPGs, JRPGs, Final Fantasy as a whole. Like most people had no clue before Final Fantasy VII. I've been playing those games for so long. Like I remember playing the first ones, and I had the original like American and Japanese versions of the game. And then I remember when they cut it off in the States. I think it was around Final Fantasy 3 that you didn't see any more Final Fantasy in the States, and I had to get them all, from Japan, stuff like that, since I had 2 different NESs, SNESs, so on and so forth. 4, 5, and 6 didn't release in the States, I want to say, until well after 7 did. I think 7 and 8 had come out before they even put out 4, 5, and 6 in the States. But yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer. They were going to do good with that, with FF7 Rebirth. It's the second part of the three part disc. So wait a minute. Is that a multi-disc game? Wait, are we going back to that? Are we going back to that? I remember there were games that had like four discs back in the day, and if I remember correct, one of them was Suikoden. Was the first Suikoden a four disc game? It was like three, maybe something. I just remember like there were 3 and 4 disc games, back in the early PlayStation area, in the early PlayStation era. That's all in Final Fantasy VII. You have Midgard, the second disc, where it takes place outside of Midgard, and then the third one you go back, and it's when you finally kill Sephiroth. Nice, nice. Okay, all right. So we're going back to those days. That game was a big game. It was a big game, but yeah, I think that was the one that introduced everyone kind of to the world of RPGs, and it was a good thing. I mean, there are other games that I can put up there with that one, and oh my god, there was one that originally it did release on the Sega Saturn, but it didn't do well until it hit the PlayStation. And I'm trying to remember. It was like, no, it wasn't. Fuck, it was. God, that's gonna mess with me so bad. But it kind of reminded me of both a final. It was of course an RPG, but it had elements of Final Fantasy, and it had elements of like OG like Zelda games. And the crazy thing was, you did more than just the regular, back in those days, it wasn't, back in the early PlayStation era, it wasn't something that you saw multiple different styles of gameplay in one game. It was like you had the standard, like going around, fighting bosses and all the normal side quests and stuff that the RPG brings. But then you could build up your army of people, and there was like 101 characters in total in that game that you could find in order to build up like your parties. But then it had an element to it to where the boss battles, there was boss battles portions in it, and you fought like against other ships and like took over their crew and all. Like that game, I have to figure out the name of that game. It was one of the most fantastic RPGs of that era. What I like about this one is the fact that at the beginning you play as Sephiroth for part of the tutorial. That's what's up. But wait a minute. But like it has no real part in the storyline of the game. It's not like they're trying to make you relate to Sephiroth more or something like that, right? All right, I got off topic there. Got into gaming nerd speak. Anyway, so yeah, I'm working on trying to do a couple of different collabs with a couple of other streamers here. One of them actually, I don't. He's not from here, but it's one of those things. He got out here. He's been here for what I want to say like 3 or 4 months, something like that. Another one. The other two is two female streamers. Oh, I forgot about the other person as well. So there's two other female streamers that I want to actually connect with out here, and we're gonna do some IRL stuff. And then one, this one here, very much so intrigued me. She runs a company here. It's like gaming related, all kinds of stuff like that. But what she did before, her job prior to that, I was like, oh, I didn't know. I did not know. But it's something she said to me. She goes, I have no problem talking about it. I think it would be a good interview. And I'm like, okay, so yeah. If I can get those things rolling, it's gonna be really interesting. I'm gonna do a lot of IRL stuff, not just videos. I'm trying to set up to where I do IRL streams and stuff like that. But the cost of fucking data out here is crazy. What I think I can do, and I'm gonna have to I'm going to go and take a look into it more than likely today when I leave. And by the way, I don't know. This stream might be an hour. It might be 2 hours long. But it's like 65 degrees outside. It's kind of overcast right now, but it's starting to get sunny. It is beautiful. And I'm going to be out in the streets today. I'm going to be straight out in the streets for real. Because, days like this, just like roaming around, even if you're in one city, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, it's part of the game where Cloud's talking about their hometown and how they had to go to make a Mako reactor where Sephiroth finds out he is a big engineer. Wait, okay, there's a lot of periods and other stuff there. A bioengineered being. Okay, gotcha. Okay. But so besides that, we may as well just go ahead and hop into these videos right now. There's one that I want to play, but I don't think I can because YouTube will they'll hit me. They will hit me with a strike, a ban, something like that. So I'm not going to play that one, but the other ones we can. And this first one, look, this to me, when I saw this, I was just like, bro, are we being serious right now? Is this real? Like, there's no way that this actually happened. Hassan Piker has put his foot in his mouth yet again. But not just him. Now, I have not watched the entire video from Asmongold, and we're going to watch that one right there. But it looks like Asmongold was trying to back him in what he said. I saw the clip from Hassan Piker, and I understand everybody's going to say, oh, it's just a clip. You know what? Let me pull this up real quick before I go any farther. Okay. I'm still working on one screen here, y'all. Annoying. All right. So, listen. I have talked about Hassan before on multiple occasions because somehow, this guy has the worst takes on this planet. I mean, he puts his foot in his mouth every chance he gets. And this one is no exception to that. And honestly, it might be one of the dumber things I've actually heard him say. And if you haven't seen it, let's go ahead and just take a look at it.
Yes, a real job can be gruesome. A real job can make you very tired. But a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will.
Okay. Okay. Listen. Wait.
So.
Okay. That's all he says. Why are they going to show me? Yo. Well, listen. We're not trying to watch myself. I'm not trying to watch myself on stream here. Okay. So listen. I have to say this right now. Just based on that short clip. What a fool. What a fool. A real job doesn't suck the soul out of you as much as 9 hours of streaming does. All right. What real job has Hassan Piker actually had? Nothing. Hassan is wealthy beyond compared to most people. And when I say that, his family owns a large media company. He worked at a retail job for like a month, maybe 2 months at max. And then went to work for the Young Turks in a media company that his uncle owns. You've got to be shitting me. You have no right to dare say something along the lines of that when streaming, number one, is a choice. It is an absolute choice. And how long you do so is also your choice. A soul-sucking job is going in somewhere where you are sitting on the phones, something that actually not just sucks the soul out of you, but is mentally tasking as anything on this earth could be going in to sit somewhere on the phones trying to make cold calls to people all day long. Or even if they're not cold calls, they're warm calls, or taking hot calls where the inbound calls are coming to you, whether it's sales, whether it's support, whether it's whatever. That is a soul sucking job, a job that makes you just not just feel disdain for yourself, but absolutely just robs you of all sorts of mental energy, physical energy. It stresses people out, so on and so forth. Going into any regular 9 to 5, 8 to 4, 10 to 6, I don't care what it is, where you're getting paid peanuts for a job that requires you to be on the go constantly. And again, making peanuts is soul sucking. There's a necessity for everyone in every role that we have in society, whether they are flipping burgers at fucking Burger King, McDonald's, whatever, or they are, folding clothes at some retail store in the mall, or making coffee at Starbucks, whatever the case may be. But those jobs do not pay potentially hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars a year. Let's keep it real though. Hassan, Asmongold, people like that, hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially a month. Real life people don't get paid like that. And they have to put up with things that you don't have to put up with. Look, I understand that on stream, people say the stupidest things on this planet. I've had people while during, in the middle of a stream, someone came in and was just like, it makes me laugh when it happens too, because I'm just like, you are a true keyboard warrior for that one right there. Hey, you know what I'm about to say right now. The N word with the at the end of it. But it's like, I choose to do this. No matter what, no matter what the situation is, I choose to do this. It's an entertaining thing for some people, for the people who come on, who watch, who hang out, who chat, who have questions, who whatever. I choose to do it. I've done streams for 24 hours. I've done streams for 13 hours. I've done streams for an hour or two. Is it tiring? Yes. But the catch to it is I chose to do so. And I don't make the fucking money that they do. They can choose to be on stream for a few hours. Let's listen to what Asmongold has to say here. I want to hear what he has to say because I haven't, gotten to see this one. I had only seen the Hassan situation, and I'm already on a tangent. And a part of that tangent is this. Just to get this out there, because it's so stuck in my head. Those jobs that I said at the beginning, the phone call, telemarketing, sales, and all these other things, people are downright nasty to you a lot of times. I mean, downright despicable in the things that they say and the way that they treat you, as if you're not a human being. They could care less about you and what you're doing in trying to help and assist them. And you have to bite your tongue, because that job is what pays your bills, keeps a roof over your head. And this is not a hobby. It's your actual livelihood. And it's not something that people look at you and absolutely, have give you any form of true accolades for. Unlike streaming, where people look up to you, want to be like you. They know the kind of money you're making. But let's hear this man out here. No volume? What the fuck? Okay, I'm getting no volume from this one right here. What is happening right now? Is anybody hearing anything? What the hell is happening right now? Okay. I don't know what's going on there. You guys let me know if you can hear me. How the hell does a job sucking the life out of you? How the hell does a job sucking the life out of you a bad thing? If you enjoy working, you enjoy it. Yeah, facts. That's true. That is very true. I can say it myself right now. Like, when I was working, anytime working in a restaurant, things like that, where I was working like 13 hours a day after doing multiple other things during that day, or having to go back and do multiple other things in that day. Working that amount of, I think I know what happened to that video right there. Working that amount of time can really, wear you down. And it's a situation where it was like, I made the choice to do that. I enjoyed that job though. So, I mean, it really didn't kill me, even though I was physically drained and on some level mentally drained, and to the point to where I remember I would get off from work and go, like, the place allowed you to get a drink after work if you wanted to or whatever. And I would sit down and people wanted to talk to me and I just didn't want to talk. I was so just drained on every level. It was like, man, what the fuck? Like, seriously, what the fuck? I didn't have it in me. Okay, hang on. Let's see if this is what the problem is. Yep.
Day off, but I started reading Twitter. I was like, man, there's a lot of retards. Like, we gotta talk about this. Millionaire streamer Hassan Piker claims that a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you in the same way that streaming will. And the funny thing about this is that this kid goes and he says this to try to, like, fucking throw up a white flag. He's like, no, I'm actually on your side. I agree with them. Bro, quit.
You know what? Hassan and what's the other dude? Oh my god. Oh, Ethan Decline. Hate 3 himself. Those two, their audiences are extremely toxic, and it's funny to me. I mean, I could care less. This guy, obviously, he threw up the white flag like I agree with his take. Get the fuck out of here. You're an idiot for agreeing with that take, first off. Next up, you're a pussy for backing down on what you originally said. Because it seems like you didn't agree with that. So don't come off with this whole, I agree with this take. I had their fans come into one of my comment sections on a video and just go in. And I went in after every single one of them. And in the end, not only was I correct in what I said, but none of them had a fucking thing to say afterward. There was no, okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I shouldn't have said that in your comment section. Maybe I shouldn't have. You know what? These little idiots, these little followers, I mean, they just are who they are, and they can be as toxic as they want to be, but that doesn't mean you should change your position in something that you say. It's the same thing that happened with, what's her name? Amaranth, and her whole situation. Everybody tried coming at me for that one, and what happened? Exactly what I said. It is what it is, and I'm sorry. I could care less how Asmongold feels about this, but he is wrong. It takes the same, if not more, energy out of you to work a 9-to-5 job, especially at the end of the day when you know that all the hard work and everything else that you put into it, it's not paying you what you deserve. Now, granted, I know people can take from that and say, well, go get another job. Well, for some people, it's not that simple. It's not that easy. Sometimes it's not that simple to make a transition from one job to the next. Sometimes the timing is not right. and you have to stick with that. So to say that as a streamer who makes hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, definitely millions a year, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, is what I'm saying. To say that your job is more soul sucking and more draining than the average person, the average working person's job, you're out of your fucking mind. Even construction workers and trashmen who make bread, by the way, which so many people have no respect for people who are, garbage men, garbage women, whatever. They have no respect for it. Them dudes make bread, but that is a trash job. I mean, no pun intended, but that's a trash ass job. Legit. Let me go back into this because I really got to hear this dude out, but I really don't. I want to hear him ragging on somebody, because listen, if he's taking the side of Hassan Piker right now, I'm gonna say it right now. He's backtracking on shit that he said in the past, which was telling other streamers and game devs who make millions of dollars to shut the fuck up and stop being so whiny because their job isn't that hard. That's who we're looking at right now.
Do this shit, seeing CNN do this shit, he definitely is trying to roast the shit out of him. Like, what do we...
Come on, man.
Rat. This guy farms hate on Hassan. He gets 15 people.
I want to hear... Come on.
The soul.
Oh, my God, of course.
Out of you. You know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will.
Turn it off, bro. Turn it off. Stop streaming. Stop streaming after 4 hours.
So,
you made your bread.
Okay,
yes.
So that's the original clip, and there's apparently there's a clip here. It's a 2-minute clip, and so this is him explaining what actually was said.
No. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Now listen. You can try and backtrack. Look, this is the exact same thing that he's fucking busting on this other dude for. Sounds like what's about to happen from Hassan. And maybe I should go ahead and watch it before I actually make this statement. But the fact is, if he's trying to backtrack, it's more than likely because his chat got on his ass about it. All right? It's still a backtrack because what you said in that moment is what you said. And it doesn't matter what you meant to say because your words have power. They have meaning. And when you say something that asinine in a moment, especially when you are an online figure, you have to figure that people are going to come and get on your ass about it. And it doesn't matter how much Asmongold tries to fix this situation for his friend, who I know that they have a relationship with one another as far as a friendship. They know each other, things like that. What someone says is a very powerful thing in a moment. And when it comes to being an online content creator, whether you like it or not, once you say something, it gets out there. When it gets out there, people are going to base what you said in that moment as everything. That's just the reality of it. I don't even really give a shit about what Hassan has to say at this point after that statement, but I'm going to give this other 2-minute clip, its due, because that's usually the fair thing to do. But what I'm really after in this video, why I don't give a shit about that 2-minute clip, is what Asmongold has to say. Because from what I'm understanding, he was just really laying it on thick in the same way Hassan did in that moment.
No. Social battery wise, unless you're in fucking retail, it's very different. You're out of touch with them. I'm gonna die, dude.
Of course, his stream got on his ass, so of course, and now you're trying to say retail? Retail drains your social battery? Bro, working 9, 10 hours a day, 11 hours, 12 hours, 13 hours, 16 hours sometimes in a normal job drains your fucking social battery. But people still have to get off from work and go and be social in some light. If they have a family at home, if they got kids at home, if they're still living with their parents, if they have to go to some form of a meeting or some form of an event afterward, they still do it. And they don't make as much money as you do. Get the whole fuck out of here. Seriously.
Motherfuckers who are accountants in here, and they're misunderstanding what I'm saying. A real job does not expend your social battery in the same fucking way as someone who did a sales job, a real job, okay? I'm telling you, as someone who did both.
For 2 months, bro.
Like,
You weren't even, were you even in sales? It was...
Of constant performance and people pleasing paps you out from social scenarios. After 9 hours of that...
9 hours of people pleasing. When you're on the phones as a telemarketer for 7, 8, 9 hours out of a day, it taps you out. When you're running a kitchen or working in a kitchen, where you really, I mean, if it's a busy kitchen, especially on specific days out of the week, when it's busy and you cannot take any form of a break, you can barely run out to take a piss. That is physically, mentally, emotionally, socially draining. Tons of other jobs are like that. Tons of other jobs are exactly like that. And the drawback to those jobs, yet again, is they still aren't making the same type of money that you're making. Now let me clear something up real quick before somebody tries to get on this whole bandwagon. Oh, well, money doesn't buy happiness. You are goddamn right. You're absolutely right if that's what you're thinking, because I keep bringing up that point. But the reality of it is that money takes away you giving a fuck, really, about a lot of things, or worrying about a ton of things that you normally worry about on a day-to-day basis. Because, again, not everyone makes $100,000 a month, if not more. And when it comes down to that, they sometimes live paycheck to paycheck. And when that happens, guess what? You're constantly worried about bills. Sometimes they're parents. Sometimes they're single parents, whether male or female. Single moms. There's single dads out there too. When that happens and you have all of those extra responsibilities that you have to take on, not just for you, but for the livelihood of others. Maybe you're caring for a sick parent. Maybe you're caring for, I don't give a damn what it is. But when you're working that normal job and you get drained in that manner and then have to go out and be social, you have no right to compare these two things. Neither one of these guys do. They are filthy fucking rich. Period.
I could probably do fucking physical labor. It would not bother me.
You're crazy.
I can't fucking do more social shit. That's my point.
I'm the same way.
Like,
Listen. I won't take it away from you. Being social afterward is probably taxing. It probably is. But you don't compare that. I think this is the whole point. Honestly, I don't even really need to hear Asmongold's point at this time. If they both make the same point, I have the same answer for this. And that's this. Number one, your problems can be understood. It is socially taxing. Cool. That's fine. But why does either of them have to make a comparison to the average working person? That part right there is what's getting them roasted online. That right there is what gets you roasted in your comment section, in your chat section. That right there is where people have the right to say, shut the fuck up. and you are way out of touch. It's pretty much that simple. Without anything else being said by either one of these individuals, that point right there is it. You have the ability to stream. Most of them started playing fucking video games. I know Asmongold did. Fucking Young Turks over here, he just had the ability to hop into it because, you know, hey, the family had bread. Worked for a media company. Oh, well, let me transition this. The young socialists here. You know, like, get the fuck out of here. But the thing is, you're doing something that, or you started off doing something that's a hobby for people. A hobby. And you make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Millions of dollars a year. And what you're telling me is that because you do it for 9 hours a day, it's harder than doing it as a normal person at a normal job. Even though you have added bonuses and benefits that normal people don't have. And when they're socially taxed and socially drained, guess what? Some of them don't get to go and turn off their fucking camera, turn off their computer, sit in the lap of luxury that you get to live in. They have to go to a second job. Come on, bruh. Get out of here. They have to do an hour, a 2 hour, a 3 hour commute home. Come on, man. What is this complaint? You have the complaint? Cool. Don't you dare compare to an average working person. I think that's the bigger point here. I really do. I mean, y'all can let me know if I'm being too harsh on the whole situation, if I'm wrong in this, if you feel I'm wrong in this. There's so much more can be said about this whole just asinine, like, diarrhea of the mouth that comes from this guy. Again, you know what? Let's just can I find it where Asmongold starts speaking, because I'm tired of hearing, you know. Okay, here we go.
Bitch.
In that
Stupid ass.
That right there. That, I mean, damn, I'm kind of glad that I caught that part. This dude literally, and as streamers, they literally get to talk shit to the people who pay them. They get to talk shit about the people whose platforms that they're on. What job do you know that you get to do that one right there? What job do you know you can go in one day and be like, hey, you know what? I mean, just to the rest of the office with the boss, right next door or in the same fucking room. Hey, you know what? This boss is trash, man. He ain't worth shit. The owners of this company are garbage. You know, I'm tired of being on the phones for this long. It's emotionally and mentally draining. These customers are stupid as a mother. What job do you know you get to do that? They get to do that at their job. They get to talk trash to the people who actually pay them to be online for 9 hours a day. And your complaint is that it's emotionally taxing and it's harder than a regular person's job. Again, I say, come on, bruh.
And he's not comparing it to every other job.
Fuck you. He did.
Jobs where you're not talking to people constantly.
Fuck you. He did. Now I'm saying fuck him. He did compare it to every other job. And then he went into trying to backtrack and say, I'm like retail and blah, blah, blah. Bro, every other job is like that. Every other job can be like that. That's just the reality of it. Motherfuckers are so out of touch. These dudes are so out of touch with the reality of what people actually do for work and how it affects them that they get to make bad takes like these.
exactly. His take isn't broad enough. Yeah, it is. He explained it pretty clearly. The clip out of context was posted 30 minutes after he said that. Instantly on Reddit, it blew up calling him a dumbass, which just reinforces his argument. Well, yeah, it's definitely understandable. Exactly. Just think nobody knows what's really socially draining. Well, not saying it isn't, but it's not as bad as others. I think that, like, so streaming as, like, a job is extremely socially draining. It is. That's why, like, there's a weird catch-22 where a lot of streamers are introverted, but being a streamer requires you to do a lot of things that extroverts want you to do.
All right. And you know what? This brings up a great point here. You, as a streamer, other streamers, a lot of them, are introverts. And honestly, here's what's funny. There is a such thing called an introverted extrovert, and I've been like that, I think, my entire life. I like sometimes the solitude of, just solitude. I was going to say, make it sound like, a much bigger fucking thing, but just solitude. I can deal with it. I don't have to be at the forefront of anything when I'm out. A lot of times, I'll tell you right now, like going to this club/bar that I go to all the time, I liked just being by myself, having my drinks, chilling, whatever. But what would happen is that people, I don't know why this is, but I mean, I've had women tell me this that work there and everything else like that. They're like, as soon as you walk in, everyone, I think I've told you guys this before, everyone automatically feels that presence. And it's very compelling and makes them want to ask you questions or talk to you. And then, of course, like a lot of women are attracted to you, so they want to talk to you, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Now, guys, I'm just sitting there, and of course, if you're sitting there talking to a lot of women and, these different things are going on or whatever, guys are going to want to hop in and be like, what's your name, bro? Like, let me buy you a drink or whatever. I go to the fucking grocery store, the market. I can go anywhere, and it's just like, for some reason, people will just be compelled to want to speak to me. And at that point, I go from that introverted means to a very my extroverted self, to where like I will carry a conversation with anyone over anything. And it doesn't matter what I've done throughout that day. I am emotionally, physically, I could be mentally, I could be socially drained. But here's the thing. For an introvert who has a regular 9-to-5 job, that introverted shit does not play. You got to deal with people. And every time they deal with people, it stacks on them more and more and more and more throughout the day, to the point to where by the end of their 8, 9, 10-hour shift, they want to ball up in a corner somewhere. So to sit here and say that streaming, where you are in your own place, you don't have to actually physically face-to-face interact with anyone, but you interact with them through your stream. A lot of streamers I've seen don't even interact with their chat. They just go on and go through their stream and blah, blah, blah. And the only time you hear them interact is if someone pays for some form of a, like text-to-speech or something like that. Or someone donates or something along the lines of that. But they are being entertaining. I understand that portion of it. But for an introvert, a true fucking introvert, and those who get anxiety from being around large groups of people or people in general, how can you even dare make this comparison? It's stupid. I really ultimately don't need to hear anything else from this dude. He's agreeing with a severely piss poor take. I mean, That's just all there is to it. A severely piss poor take. And the reality of it is, again, no matter what the situation is, the truth of this whole thing is they have every ability to stop streaming at any point in time throughout their day. Whether it's 2 hours in, whether it's 3 hours in, 4 hours in, 5 hours in, 9 hours in, 24 hours in, 36, 48, I don't care. They have the ability to stop streaming and go back to their live with everything that they have and be perfectly fine. You're emotionally drained? Take a day off. Take 2 days off. Take a week off. Take 2 weeks off. Take a month off. And no matter what anybody says, when it comes down to, oh, but you can't do that because then you could lose your audience and blah, blah, blah. Shut up. Nah, streamers do it all the time. Content creators do it all the time. In fact, one of the bigger known streamers and content creators out there, Corey Kenshin, is probably the prime example of this. That man has taken months off, years off, like an entire year or more. Come back, audience there, waiting for him. You let your audience know. PewDiePie, when he took like his first break, everybody was like, bro, good look, do it. You need the break. You need to chill. It was only like a month or two, maybe 2 or something like that. But, maybe it was a little bit longer. I don't know. But I remember him taking that first break, and it was like, good. Like, he deserves it. He needs to do that. He didn't seem to get burnout the way that a lot of people got burnout until after 10 years plus of doing it. The fact is, though, you have the ability to do it. And your audience is still going to be there. That's just the truth of it. I don't even have that big of an audience by any means on YouTube at all. And when I remember after the channel was launched, I took like a year off, if not more. And when I came back and put something out the first time and it transitioned over to the new channel, the new name, everything else, there were still people who came back and were like, hey, good to see you back. Like, what happened? Discussed it with them, whatever. It is what it is. There's times that I'm unable to stream for weeks. I don't know. I think the longest break I've actually had to take from streaming on Twitch and YouTube was like a month or so, more recent, if not slightly longer. The group of people that were constantly watching at that point in time are still here. When you have the number of, or the fan base that they have, when you have the communities that they have, hundreds of thousands, millions of followers, of subscribers, of viewers, you can afford to shorten your stream times. You can afford to take time off so that you can actually repair from your exhaustion. But in a normal everyday job, you don't have that ability. Some people don't have holiday pay. And even if you have holiday pay, you got a limited amount of time to go out and enjoy that holiday, that vacation, before you got to come back to the exact same thing for the exact same pay. And it's nowhere near what Isn't or Hassan Piker make in a month. Shit. Their salary in a month, what they make in a month, is more than what some people make in a year or 2 years or 3 years in some cases. So yeah, that take is way, way, way out of bounds. And I think it's a moment where they both need to really think about what they're saying, especially Hassan himself. And more than likely, hey, take Asmongold's advice. Stop whining. Stop being so soft and shut the fuck up. Anyway, so yeah, enough of that. Wow, that was emotionally that was emotionally taxing to even have to speak on that. But yeah. So the other stuff I kind of want to go over. If you guys have anything you want to talk about or like want me to react to or anything like that, feel free to let me know. Hit me up on Discord right now. Since I'm to the Discord, I'll be able to pull it up. And if anything, just drop it in chat. If you're on YouTube, thanks a million for being here, for liking, for chatting, for hanging out, all that good stuff. And most definitely subscribe. And if you are on Twitch, give a follow, subscribe if you can, and most definitely feel free to hop in the chat. But yeah, leave stuff in the chat. Let me know if you have anything for me to react to or you want to discuss, whatever. So, all right. Nina's not online, and she's probably going to be mad at me for telling this story without her because I kind of... it's story time real quick. Hang on one second. Let me adjust. Oh, my God. Floor gang life. But, so a couple of days ago, or actually the last time I streamed, I think it was this past Sunday. So... after streaming, like I said, I got up, I was hungry, I went out to go and grab something to eat. Yeah, and I was on stream for a good couple hours. Hell, the last time when I was on stream, it was like 5 hours or so, whatever. But I got up and still went out and was social in the world. I went out to go grab something to eat. And then I took a little walk for a while this last Sunday. And then I went to an izakaya. And it's an izakaya that one of the three that I go to, quite a bit. Hang on, I need a drink. But so I'm there. Well, I go to the izakaya, and when I walk in, of course, talk with say what's up to the owners, everything else, and then in the back was the group of people I had met before. And the guy, his name's Jim, he's like, yo, come over, sit down with us, whatever. All right, cool. The bar area, there was multiple people that were sitting there. There was space, but they were like, just come sit with us. So I go and sit down, and then there was a different girl that was there with them this time as well. So we're sitting there. It's his birthday, having drinks, whatever. And I could not help. But, I mean, the girl that was sitting to the left of me, she was so just gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. And June wanted to walk outside. So we walked outside. We were out there talking everything. And I said to him, I'm like, look, man, hey, I know the other girl is your girl or whatever, but her. I was like, your friend. He's like, yeah. Because he knew what I was going to say. But I said to him, I'm like, she is fucking, she's gorgeous. Like, she's beautiful. Whatever. Go back in, sit down. And, he and I, like, it's funny. He and I, and then his girl, like, we swap between English and Japanese, in our conversations. And he also speaks Chinese, too. But the girl to the left of me, she only spoke Japanese, so I'm speaking in Japanese to her, and she just like kept like blushing and like everything else. And he's such an asshole. I didn't know, but she actually spoke some English. I didn't find this out until just after. But he's such an asshole. He goes, "Yeah, he only speaks Japanese to the ladies." So she starts laughing, and then I said something to her that got her. She just like, because she didn't. I'm not going to say what I said, but maybe one day I'll teach you guys that. But then she started speaking, and then she's like, and I'm just so afraid because my English is so bad. And I go, don't even worry about it. And then I felt something under the table. I'm like, she just kicked me. She just kicked me, like whatever. But then I realized, like, it wasn't that, because she had adjusted. And it was just that her foot just kept getting close. Like, it was on mine. And originally I had moved just because I'm like, oh, my bad. My big ass feet under the, whatever. No. So she did it again. And then I just look over. And the conversation we were having, Jin just says out loud, he goes, oh, so you two are just flirting. And I'm just like, fuck, is it this obvious? She's got this huge smile on her face the whole time, and I pointed that out to her, whatever. And then, it was one of those situations I didn't expect, because let me tell you, Sunday after everything, I had so much on my mind. And I mean, I've met so many women out here already, quite a few. Let me just be honest, like quite a few. But this was something totally like just different and very interesting to me. And so we're all leaving, but then they had asked about, when was my birthday, whatever. And my birthday's the 21st of this month of March. Well, you guys are still in February. I'm already in March. It's March 1st here. But so she's like take down my birthday, everything else, we're going out. Like she says that, and June's like, hell yeah, like we'll all get together, whatever, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, cool. And then she wanted to exchange information, and I'm like, I really don't think anything of it. And as we're leaving, they had to take a little bit of a drive to get back to where they are. And me, I'm like literally right down the street. So we're saying our goodbyes and everything else. And it was the craziest thing, because like she's bowing to me and she's just smiling and everything else, and we're saying goodbye. And then she reaches out and then she grabs my hand and like we shake hands. But as I'm like walking, as I'm like turning away, like she just held my hand there for a second. And I look back at her and she goes, make sure, like, because she had put me on her Instagram in line, but I hadn't accepted her yet. But she says, when you get back, accept me. And I'm like, definitely. I promise you I will. I promise you. So I get back and I accept her and everything else. And then a conversation ensues. And the conversation's kind of just like, she says in Japanese, she's like, I'm so sorry if my English was bad, but please teach me because I'd like to learn from you and whatever else. And I'm just like, don't worry about it. It was perfect. And fucking like, I'm sorry. Like, I know sometimes I stutter in my Japanese, whatever. And we're just like doing this whole thing back and forth. But it's such a crazy thing because I number one, I was doing this because Nina told me I had to tell the story, and I know she's going to be pissed she's not here to hear it. But it's also a very interesting thing because socially out here, I don't know. It doesn't usually go like that. It really doesn't. Maybe I'm lucky. It's personality, whatever the case may be. But to have had that sort of a situation happen was very, very interesting, because most of the time when you go out on dates and everything else like that, it's like this the formalness of it will really stand out to someone who's not used to being that formal. Certain things don't get said, certain things don't usually happen. And it was like all that night, like all of those rules like were broken. And there wasn't even a date. That was, it just ended up being this thing where we meet each other and just both actually liked each other, and she is very much so a Japanese woman. Not your typical, like, not the one that like, usually like dates foreigners or really interacts with foreigners that much. But for some reason, it was very easy. And that, and that was the other part right there. They were giving me shit because, I don't know, somehow, June asked me about something about like going to work out or whatever. And she said something that I didn't quite catch. And then he said something back to her, and I'm like, wait a minute, what are we talking about here? Because then I caught what he said. And he tells her, he's like, you don't even know, because I was still in my jacket. And so she like goes and puts her arm up and makes a muscle. I'm like, you got muscles going. You're like, you're strong, whatever. And that's when she goes, you. And I'm like, now I get what she said. But essentially she like make a muscle, and she's just like, and like kept rubbing on my arm. And then like that's when June said the whole flirting thing. And then he goes, Like, he likes you. And I'm like, what the fuck? How you just gonna put me on blast like that? And she goes, I like him too. And I really like his muscles. It was just fucking hilarious to me that this was going on, considering, again, this isn't normal. So essentially, for all of you out there that are like worried as far as when it comes to dating out here, or interacting with people and all of the things that foreigners usually hear that makes them shy away from doing so. Honestly, yeah, you're going to run into that every now and again. And being formal, especially in the beginning, is usually a very important thing. But understand that the rules don't apply to all situations. And your personality will absolutely get you into situations that you don't expect and that you absolutely enjoy. So yeah. I guess that's it. I know I'm gonna have to tell a portion of that story again when Nina's on, but yeah, whatever. Anyway, this kind of brings me to another. Well, there was a couple of other videos. Oh, okay, all right. Here we go. We're gonna check this one out real quick. How long have I even been on? Does anybody know? 'Cause I have no clue. If I wasted like an hour on that, Jesus Christ, I wasted like an hour on that whole Hassan and Asmongold situation. Fuck! I honestly hate doing that, because having to edit that to go on YouTube. Because I'm putting that on YouTube. I don't give a damn. People are going to get mad at me for saying what I said. I could care less. But that's going up. Having to edit that's going to be a pain, though.
How far are you willing?
Okay, that's not the video. I know you guys can't see it yet, but... Oh, okay. So, a lot of people, as I said earlier when we started, a lot of people have asked about working in Japan, how that works, the work ethic, so on and so forth. Well, look, I can tell you right here, right now, it's different. It is way different than it is in the States, to an extent. And I think the reason why it's so much more different is because of the customs that come into play when it comes into working in Japan and doing business here. And I mean, no matter what kind of job you work, the work ethic and the customs are a lot different. But this girl here, haven't watched it yet, and I want to see what she goes into and how much I can actually add to it or detract from it, whatever, based on her experience. So let's check this out.
And welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome to my channel. So a week ago I got a new job. This is actually my first job in Japan. Even though I was born and raised in Japan, I only have experience working in America. So working in Japan is like a whole new experience as foreigners do. So I'm in a really unique situation right now. So this is my story time.
So she obviously she's not a foreigner. She's a Japanese citizen who grew up there, everything else, but obviously probably went to school and worked in the States during her school time. That's my assumption at this point. She could have also just grown up there, but normally when you say something like that, like, it's usually a thing of more than likely that was like a school experience. So yeah, she said she's from Japan, grew up there, her first Japanese job, worked. Yeah, I'm gonna guess she was going to school in the States and was working during that point in time as well.
Makes me more isolated from people here. This story is very cryable, if that's a word, but I'm not gonna cry because
It's not.
it's kind of
It's not.
laughable. Because I kind of expected this to happen. In my previous videos,
Wow.
I talked about the process of getting hired. This is my experience after I got.
Yeah, the process of getting hired, and I think, being honest about it, for her, it was real easier than it probably was for me. And there's a reason that I say that too. The thing is, going to transfer jobs here would be an even tougher thing, I think, for me. Even though I have the skill set. Not just the skill set, but the experience that people my age and older do not have. But it would still be a hard thing, and the process can be a bit much. The questions you get asked, the checks that go into it, the length of, I think for her though, it had to have been a lot easier. And sometimes, I mean, it's like an immediate fucking hire. From a couple of the people that I've talked to here, Japanese people who I've talked to here about like the jobs they do or whatever, yeah, they were hired like immediately the next day. Just in there. That's it.
Actually hired. So I got hired. I started working on the next day. It's been only a week. I'm
The
still
next
on
day.
Training. I was just working and learning. Japan, it's so freaking different. Companies in America allow you to do basically anything you want. Not everything, but most of things. They allow them to think of their personal lives as a priority. But here in Japan, your personal
Shit, sweetie. I don't know what companies you worked at in America. Fuck your personal life is what you, yo. Listen. I get it. I think nowadays the companies are becoming more inclined to allow people to take certain time off and things of that nature. And in fact, I can say this honestly, and this is not, please do not take this wrong. Don't try and clip me and like put it out there. Oh, he's a misogynist or some shit like that. But women, and I know this for a fact, and like a lot of the companies that I've worked with or for, when they had certain issues, it was like, hey, go home. Take care of yourself. You're feeling some kind of a way for a week? Need some time off? Get that. Single mom, got some things going on at the crib, the kids, we get it. Same thing goes when it comes to like, being sick, male or female. You're sick, don't you come in here. Stay your ass at home. We'll see you when you get back. Now, of course, if it's too long of a time or something like that, then it's like, come on, man. They're going to treat you like you're in school again. Where's your doctor's note? You know what I'm saying? But I understand, like, there are certain things, like even like break periods and stuff like that with jobs in America. Motherfuckers be taking breaks every 10, 15 minutes to go out and have a smoke. Like, are you kidding me right now? You spent 70% of your shift outside having a cigarette. What is happening right now? Doing other things. Motherfuckers going to work now, blazed up. And the companies are just like, you know what, it's legal. Fuck it. As long as you can do your job, Gucci, go for it, So I get where she kind of comes off with that.
things, it doesn't matter. Like, you're basically robots. You cannot say anything about your shift. The managers, bosses control you everything. Because it's Japan, you basically don't have freedom. You are not free to do anything. There is only one way to do things. Rules here are crazy. Every second you move, people tell what to do. Like, for example, I'm front desk agent and have to have the guest signature. You give them a pen. Even that, there's a way to do it. Okay, so you give a pen. All I need is a signature from the guest. You just give the pen. No.
Nope.
This so
So-
if you do this, Japanese people are gonna think you are crazy. Everything, like every single thing you give to the guest, you're gonna have to use both hands.
Yo!
Doesn't matter what it is. You use both hands like this.
Yo!
This is one.
Yo, she she ain't even lying. She ain't even lying for real. Oh man, that's why so many places have such a crazy training regimen, and it's just like getting a beer in certain bars. Now there's certain places out here where like they might grab it by the mug handle or whatever, but usually even when they hand it to you, that second hand is at the bottom and getting handed off to you kind of in that manner. And even the way they pour a beer is extremely important. You will get in trouble if you pour a beer incorrectly here. Hotel staff, stuff like that. So the hotel that I was at, the system is cool as hell. First off, so the key is usually on a rod like this long. It's a 4-sided rod, and when you go into your room, you take it and you drop it into this box. And once you drop it into that box, it turns like all your power comes on. So when you leave, you take it out and it shuts all the power off. So it conserves any there's a specific word for this, but it's any power that's being used, even though all appliances or things are off. It conserves that. So essentially, it like turns off the breaker. All right. But when they hand you the key at that hotel, yeah, they'll grab it, tuck the key, which is dangling on a metal chain, like a little metal chain, tuck it in the left hand, usually if they're left-handed, and then have the rod held like this and kind of and bow to you. It's like shit. You could have just in the States. They're like, nigga, here's your key. Get gone. Like, just there you go. Peace out. So yeah, that right there. She's not lying. Not at all.
One of the 100 million of roles. Japan is full of nonsenseness and
Nonsenseness.
And the rules we are following, I don't understand why we have to follow the rules. There's no meaning. I asked somebody, why do we follow these stupid rules? They don't know why they are following it, but they are following it anyways.
I'll tell you why. Hey, yo, I gotta subscribe to this channel right now, bro. This is, yo, I'm not even gonna lie. Yo, I like the way she does her videos. Listen. I'll tell you right now. So, there's a very, very specific saying and term that I was told when I was younger living here, and I can't remember it to quote it, but it breaks down to the rules and the laws that are in place that people follow maintains the social order. And Japan and most Asian countries and things like that are huge on social order. I mean, Japan and Korea, I think, would be the two most heavily predicated on social order. Other Asian countries, hey, it's a fucking, it's a zoo. Oh my God. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just like, shit, do what you want. Do what you want. All right. But yeah, it's a social order sort of situation. And all of the politeness, whether fake or not, it maintains said social order. That's just the reality of it.
Allow people to talk on the phone when you are in a train.
Hey, listen. Yo, listen. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of appreciate that. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of appreciate that shit. You can't talk on the phones when you're on a bus, and you can't talk on the phones when you're on a train. You just can't. And like, what's funny, I did not record while I was on a train at all. I did sneak a recording on a bus. My bad. You know what? Hey, content police, do not come after me here in Japan, all right? But I did do it only to show how clean that fucking bus was and how calm it was on the bus. Now, I get it on the bus, especially like late at night, because you got people coming back from work or whatever, and they're just like, they're drained. They are mentally, socially, emotionally, and physically drained, and they pass out. And so it's like, yeah, being on a loud ass conversation. I mean, half the time, even the bus, like the conversation's happening on the bus or the train are quiet. People, wait, she said no one used their phone on the train. No. You use your phone on the train. You just don't have conversations while you're on the train. People are texting the whole time, doing other stuff like reading stuff, whatever. They have their headphones in, they're listening and watching videos and shit. I can tell you that right now. I know that for a fact. All right? I've been on trains like when they were like dead ass empty and busy than a motherfucker, for long ass rides. And people are on this shit, but it's just like they're not making a lot of noise and messing around with everybody else that's on the train. Because again, people are getting off work, they're tired, whatever. And here in Japan, like, you can fall asleep damn near anywhere, and they're just like, do you thug thizzle? It is what it is.
Next to you, but you cannot talk on the phone. That rule doesn't make any sense.
I just explained it.
If it happens, you have to call 911. So yeah, it's really
okay. That's pushing the bounds a little bit right there. If an emergency happens on the train, you can call the emergency number. All right, you can do that. And then beyond that, here, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this, and this is kind of fucked up. But if an emergency happens, most people might not even know it's an emergency. Shit, somebody look like they sleeping, they could be gone. Because people are so just like, whatever here. Sometimes I think like if you fell down in the middle of the street, everybody just gonna walk over you and be like, you better get up. Like on some real shit. I'm just being honest. That's how it can feel in some places out here. Oh my God.
Hard for me to follow all the rules here because it doesn't make any sense. I'm the person who doesn't want to do things that I personally don't think it's a good thing to do. Here, everything is nonsense. I really don't know why people here are okay to follow those stupid things. People here don't think, but just follow the rules. They don't even think about the reason why they are doing that. They are just mind controlled and do whatever the boss says. Literally. I told you in the last videos, I'm not joking, it's literally like cold. I don't think this is good. 30 minutes ago, I got a phone call from my work agent and asked me how I'm doing after a week, and I said, it's pretty good. Nothing seems to be bad. And then
they knew something you didn't know.
The manager doesn't like me. They hate me because I'm too American. Japanese people don't like people with American personalities because they think that's annoying. Japanese people think Americans stupid. I don't think so. I totally disagree with that opinion. That's so wrong. American people are awesome. American people is the best, like 100% greatest people in the whole world. And
hey yo, listen, dead ass. Yo, what a lot of Japanese people appreciate, and a lot of them have total disdain for, is how direct I can be. For the truth of it is, I carry multiple cultural identities and have grown up in those places. I carry a lot of the traditions and different stuff like that in me. And there's times where, and I've known this my whole entire life. I mean, didn't have to even get pointed out to me, even though it got pointed out to me. The stuff that I was taught as far as like, Japanese, the way that they are societally and then living here and everything else when I was younger, that a lot of that stuck with me. But at the same time, then of course like the European part of it, the Spanish part of it, that I think that's where my like party sense and everything else kind of comes from. But then that American side to me where it's just, and I mean I don't even blame it on that. I blame it on just like me being me. It's who I am. I am very direct in things, or I'll let you talk yourself into a hole. I'll sit there and listen and be like, all right, sure, got it. Oh yeah, and then blast you for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, why you lying? Keep shit a stack. Like, stop it. Or the way I approach people and different things like that. I'm always respectful, but I can do it in a manner to where it's like, that's that American side. Fuck that. And this is the thing. for her, obviously, so she grew up in America much longer than what I was thinking. The fact of the matter is this, sweetie. You do have you have some American traits there, to where it's like it's almost like you don't want to understand that the aspect of where these people are coming from when it comes to, you know, the Japanese people and their ideals. I will say that, yeah, working like a robot and having no say is kind of it's a tough thing. Don't question anything. Don't have any better ideas. When you go out to drink, you have to, like, a lot of times you have to go out with your company, or at least make a showing a couple of times, you know, in a week or more, because then you get labeled as an outcast. And then when you toast, or you know, here most places we all say cheers, or some places say toast. Some place, you know, here it's kampai, Korean it's gambai, you know, whatever. But when you do that, like, your beer has to be underneath the boss's beer, and if, you know, like, you might even go lower because someone else is there that you're underneath, and like next thing you know, you're toasting on at the table or on the floor because everybody else is up here while you're down at the bottom of the fucking rung, and it's like you are not an equal by any means. It's crazy. It's kind of crazy, but then again, it goes back to the customs, to the social order, to trying to maintain said social order and things like that. I think that there's things, but here's what's crazy about that, me even saying that, like, they incorporate so many things outside of the Japanese culture into the Japanese culture, and then turn it, you know, make it Japanese to some degree. But somehow, some way, can't learn that there's a better way to deal with one another and the things. And I told you guys the last stream where I compared Japan as a country to being the hot chick that doesn't know it's hot, that doesn't know she's hot. You know what I'm saying? And how, like, it's absolutely insane. It's insane. Let's go back to this. I'm gonna skip some because I've been talking too much, and yeah.
To become 100% American girl, because I really hated Japan. I really wanted to be a better version of me, and I chose to be like American because they were so beautiful.
But that's the fucking thing right there. That's a self-hatred sort of situation, a self-loathing sort of situation. I'm not saying anything bad on it because a lot of people are like that. But the fact is, you don't have to try and become 100% American. You can simply be your Japanese self, but carry those American traits and things like that. You can't have disdain for where you come from, because that is still embedded in you on some level. And the reality is that when people do that, it ends up becoming a situation to where in the end they hate themselves because they've been attempting to be this other version of themselves while the other part still lives within them, and they've been suppressing it the whole entire time. It's just the same reason why so many, like, Japanese women and foreign dudes, or foreign women and Japanese dudes, like, those relationships, a greater deal of time, will end up ending. And the reason why is because that open communication is not there, and one of those individuals or both of those individuals is trying to suppress a certain side of themselves in order to, adjust for the other person. And the reality is, you can be all of those things, carry all of those traits, be your natural self, and you'll find your place. You'll find where you fit in. You'll find someone who accepts you, a company that accepts you, be able to work within the realm of, the society in which you live. And obviously, she's back in Japan, and to have that sort of feeling, it's hard. It makes it harder to actually either adjust to some level and then find a good working condition, because you kind of have it built into yourself to where it's like everything is nonsense and unfair. And, I would love to sit and talk to this girl, like dead ass. I like the way she makes her videos and her points. I'm not saying she's 100% wrong in her viewpoints. The fact of the matter is that the way that this is coming off, it's coming off kind of just like, she has no positive vision towards the country and the culture and different things like that. But who knows? Let me skip a little bit farther, because I'm telling you, like, this is an 18-minute video, and next thing I know, I've been talking on this one an hour as well.
I didn't know giving a pen had the rule. If I did this, they're gonna be so mad. They get mad. It's not.
I'm surprised they didn't.
They give me suggestions.
Trainer.
It's like those in military. If you don't do this, you are a problem. That actually made me so upset. Okay, this is the only one of 100,000 millions billions of rules. Oh, another thing, when you work, you have to go prior to the working time. You're gonna have to come a little bit earlier.
Now listen. Yo, I don't think, sorry for pausing so much, but I don't think that this is really one of those things that's strictly Japanese. When it comes down to it, there was a saying in America, if you're not early, you're late. I mean, that is an actual saying. Shit, when you go for like interviews and everything else, and usually like your P's, especially if it's like your first job, whatever, like get there 15 minutes early. If you can, a half an hour. Wait outside for 15 minutes, then go in and wait those extra 15 minutes to go for that interview. When you get to work, be there 15 minutes ahead. Shit, there are companies in America that are literally like, you need to be here 5 to 10 or 15 minutes before your shift starts. There are telemarketing companies in America. A fucking telemarketing company. You need to be here 15 minutes before your shift starts, or you're late. What? And not only are they serious about it, but if you show up and you clock in on time, which by the way, they don't pay you the extra 15 minutes early. No. If you show up on time, you clock in on time, and you get on the phones on time, they're like, why were you on time? Why weren't you here early? What the? Wait, excuse me? And if you're 5 minutes late, bruh, that's a write-up. And that's your first one. You get another one, we're going to have a serious problem. And more than likely, you could be fired. And that second one is the serious problem, and you're on probation and all this other stuff. And the third one, you are fired. Goodbye. But it's not just telemarketing. I'm just saying, like, those jobs, that rule, that exists in America. 100% too, sweetheart. 100%.
Here, you're gonna
She's
be
cute.
20 minutes earlier. What am I supposed to do during this 20 minutes? That's too much. I mean, like, I can change into the uniform within, 3 minutes. So, do the calculation. 10 minutes earlier is fine. And this is what they said. If I didn't come 20 minutes earlier from the next time, I'm gonna be either fired or moved to housekeeping. What the fuck? I'm not even late.
Oh, so she was working at a hotel.
Early. I've never heard of a company that says coming 10 minutes early.
Trust me.
Bad.
Trust me.
At work every day.
There are.
That makes sense. You get fired. On paper, there's an employee's name on the left side, what time they work, what time they take break, and what time they get off. F means front desk. R means something. That time I saw this with different dates on it, and I misread the schedule. I thought I was gonna work from 2 p.m., but in reality, it was from 11 a.m. and I didn't come at 11 a.m. They worried. They called me. They said, where are you? And I said, I'm home. What's wrong? And they said I was supposed to be there at 11 a.m. And I was like, what do you mean I'm working from 2 p.m.? And I checked again and I was like, oh my gosh.
Now, whose fault is that? Yo, look, we can't blame the company for that one. You were 3 hours late. Like, yo, that's a whole other scenario right there. You were 3 hours late on that one. We can't blame the company for that.
Because this is so confusing. This is one of the schedule And
You got to learn how to read your schedule.
the
Listen,
schedule of another day. I mean,
I'm not going to lie. Listen, look, that is not the company's fault. Now, if they didn't teach you how to read the schedule, that's their fault. But I have seen that happen in the States as well. People got confused by their schedule, and I don't understand, especially, considering seeing that scheduling all the time in America. Like, I don't understand how you got confused by your schedule at all. Now, I can understand this was her first job in Japan, so maybe it could be a little bit confusing. But if you have questions, you got to ask those questions. And not just that, but again, the company probably showed you how to read a schedule. You could obviously read your time or whatever, but that one's on her. That one is on her.
look so similar. It was still on my first date. I was not used to read the schedule like this. That time I really messed up. After the phone call, I immediately went to work and said I'm sorry to everybody, and I also said to manager, I suggest you to make a full week schedule because this is not.
She fucked up. She fucked up. She fucked up. Yo, you don't suggest a damn thing. It was in a. What makes it so much better, it was her first day. Yo, no, not your place. Absolutely not. Don't go suggesting shit on your first day, especially. Absolutely not.
Not so easy to read, and it's a little bit confusing for me. And if it does for us, it'll help me a lot, and
But
it'll help other people.
Everyone else understood the schedule.
No, we don't do that. That's it. After that, they pretended like I didn't say that. See, they don't listen to you. They don't listen to employees. They don't have willingness to get suggestion from employees. I said that in my previous videos. I wasn't lying. It's happening right now. That's also the reason unfairness and nonsense continues forever.
But you cannot expect that after being enlisted, after being 3 hours late, after on your first day, and then not understanding the way that things work, like culturally or whatever. You can't just go in and expect I'm gonna have this change made because I didn't read the schedule properly. Everyone else has read the schedule properly for whatever amount of time. Again, it was an error, but you got to ask questions, things like that. You can't expect for someone to sit and take you seriously at that point in time. I understand if you had been there for some time and you work in. Listen, this is the thing. She's making this comparison as if it wouldn't be the same in America. I promise you, it would be the same in America. In fact, you wouldn't have even had a week to work in a lot of companies. They'd have been like, goodbye. You were like, shit, that phone call they made to you in most places in the States, they would not have made that phone call. Like, I'm not sure what jobs you worked in America and how long you worked them or where you were working them at, but usually in the corporate world and even in the hospitality world, you were 3 hours late? Nah, you don't have a job here. And if you showed up at 2 o'clock, they'd have been like, what are you doing here? My shift started. No, your shift started at 11. Bye-bye now. Like, for real. That's just the honest truth of it. Shit. While training the staff of new people to work in the kitchen and shit like that at the restaurant, hey, yo. Dude, at his first day, all right, cool. The next day, I kid you not, showed up like 45 minutes, almost an hour late. And I was like, the fuck? Nah, bruh. He's like, oh, well, I had this, like, excuse that. And I'm just like, hey, bro, just go home. You're good. Bye. Goodbye. That's it. can't do it sometimes, especially in certain scenarios. You cannot allow it. So, I mean, she was lucky to be there for an extra week. Let me be real.
Trying to adjust to the environment. I'm trying to adjust to the
There it is.
and company's style. And it's been a week. They are already giving me up. I don't know, question mark. So yeah, I'm gonna be either get fired or they're gonna move me to housekeeping, work in the back. I feel so isolated from everybody here in Japan. I feel like I'm the only one who's like this, who's experiencing
You're not.
it.
You're not.
I'm really hoping that somebody kidnap me and take me somewhere in Japan.
Whoa!
Anywhere.
Whoa!
Kidnap me to America. That would be so awesome. Please come get me.
Oh my god! Oh my goodness! She asking to get kidnapped, bro. I'm weak right now. Listen, here's what's crazy. Like, I understand how that is, but she's not the only person who feels like that here. I mean, more people feel the way that she feels than she probably understands. And on some level, after feeling that way, people start to isolate themselves. And that's very realistic. They will isolate themselves to a point to where, not only do these problems feel like they're theirs alone, but they won't interact with other people in order to understand that they're not alone in these and how to actually work within the system in order to, be more comfortable. Or they don't have interactions with other people in order to be able to release that stress and that worry. Like, so she hasn't gotten fired yet. She's just worried that she's getting fired and possibly being moved to housekeeping. Yeah, this is a cool video, and I like, you know what? I gotta subscribe to her, like, for real, because I like the way that she does things. Well, her understanding might be a little bit off or whatever. And that was 4 years ago. Like, I didn't even know when this was made. And I don't know if she's still in Japan or not. But the thing is, it is an adjustment for people. It really is an adjustment for someone to move and to have worked in somewhere like America and then to come here and to start working or to just kind of dive into the culture and everything else. It's a huge adjustment. And the companies, a lot of times I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that they are willing, especially depending on the industry that you're in. Because there's some companies, they just need people, period. I mean, it could be the reason why the amount of employees available in Japan has, gone down so drastically because people are tired of dealing with some of those things. But of course, it's more a thing that there's not enough people of working age at this point due to lowered birth rates here and things like that. And that's just, that's just what it is. But that adjustment is something I think that the society as a whole has opened up more and become more accepting of things. And it's something that's going to take even more time to kind of be implemented here as to how people, the work life goes, how people interact with one another goes. But honestly, I think a lot of them are more trying to give people an adjustment period. And sometimes it's required to demote someone to give them said adjustment period. I've seen it happen even in America. All right. I mean, and there, what's really fucked up is when they don't tell you what's going on. And it's one of those situations, all of a sudden your shifts start getting lower. You're not making no kind of bread at that point. And then the next thing you know, it's like the movie Office Space. We're going to move you down to the basement. And you're just sitting there like my swing line stapler, and I could burn this place down. But yeah, like it's that sort of situation where like sometimes you just get the shit end of the stick for real, you know. And an adjustment period is something that is it's not a requirement. It's not a requirement. It's a gift to be given that. You know, sometimes companies just want you to jump in and fucking get on it, especially if they gave you any kind of training at all. But yeah, hey, you guys let me know what you thought of that. Like, wow, I thought that was a really interesting video. And it speaks to a lot of truths here, but at the same time, it goes back to a lot of stuff I've said to people before and even in past streams and last week even. You know what? It's a different place. The culture is different. Ideals can be different. And you make the adjustment if you allow yourself to make the adjustment. That's just all there is to it. But anyway, so yeah, I think, I don't know how long have I been on, maybe like 2 hours. There's some other stuff that I actually wanted to get into, but seriously, it is now noon, and I think, well, yeah, it's almost been 2 hours. I would love to stay on and be on here for 9 hours. I just know I have a ton of stuff I have to do. Like literally, I have to go out and eat right now, go, make some moves, and then like come back here. I have a huge project that I have to work on, and then I'll probably do some editing, and then later on tonight go back out. And there's something else that I kind of wanted to talk about, and I had a video ready for us to watch, but we'll do it the next time that I'm on, because I've actually seen it here with my own eyes too. It's insane. But hey, I think it's about that time to everyone. If you were on YouTube, thanks a million for watching. Please go ahead, most definitely, like the video, leave your comments on anything that we talked about and things you might want to see later on. And subscribe. If you're on Twitch and you're watching this later on, go ahead and give a follow. If you want to subscribe, that would be absolutely fantastic. But you guys know what time it is. I hate to do it. It's been good. It's been fun. It's been great. I'm the Showblet 8. I got to go ahead and get out there and live some life. So on that note, I'm out. Peace.